We are back, and you're listening to Executive Leaders Radio. This is Dean Schwartz, your host, with my co-hosts, John Lee of Griffin and Bob Holland of Vistage. Our next guest is Brett Kratchman. Brett is the president and founder of a company called BK Specialty Foods. Brett, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
What is BK? You're in the food business, so I'll stop there. But what does BK do?
BK is the area's leading provider of specialty food products sourced from around the world. We service hotels, restaurants, supermarkets, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, New York.
What is a specialty food? Knock a couple, throw as many names out as to give us an idea.
You know, products that are unique, hard to source, imported, domestic items that, artisan stuff, hard to make.
Like bison in a bag or something? Or
foie gras.
Okay.
Vanilla beans, hors d'oeuvres that are handmade, specialty produce, good meat cuts.
And you bring them in from outside the region. It could be from Europe or in Asia.
We have a lot of local suppliers. New
so
York, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And we also do a lot of importing. We have both.
Okay. How big is the company? How many employees?
We have 60 people in the BK distribution center.
Okay. And you have a couple other businesses too.
Yes, we have other.
You're not just importing foie gras.
We have Classic Cake, which is also a local business, and Classic Cake is a retail and a wholesale manufacturer of cheesecakes and other cake products that are sold throughout the region. We also have a business in Florida called United Juice Companies of America, and that company is an extractor of fresh squeezed citrus products, orange, grapefruit, lemon, and lime, and we sell that worldwide.
Okay.
When you talk about your kind of institutional users of these food products, are you guys sort of like the trendsetters, where you're saying, hey, here's some new ideas from China or from our backyard in terms of new types of food? Do you find yourself playing that role?
We do a lot of that. We do shop around. We go to a lot of trade shows, both internationally and locally, to see, who's out there with something unique. I get to meet a lot of people who are very passionate about making food, packaging food, and that's one of the best parts of the business. I get to really meet really smart, interesting people who...
So there must be chefs at restaurants that they write about in the newspaper, this new restaurant, that new restaurant, they say they have this and this, and you're the guy behind the scene that the chef is calling up saying, I need this.
I would say that I have a lot to do with that. I can't take credit for all of it. I mean, there's a lot of other people in this industry who do what I do, but it's a large part of our operation.
Who does the cooking in your house?
My wife does.
Okay.
Brett, you said that you have a distribution business, but it sounds like you also have some manufacturing business. What is the reach or the distribution area for your manufacturing businesses?
The manufacturing business in Florida, we do some we have some nice export business into Europe and Asia. We sell product. Those products are going. We have an equipment piece that's a freeze tunnel. So we extract citrus fresh, and it's frozen like within a few minutes, bottled, and we ship it by ship container. We have customers in Hong Kong, China, France, Germany.
So you worry about whether there's going to be freezes in down in South Jersey, and not South Jersey, in South Florida. You worry about freezing.
Oh, we worry about it.
You worry about all those things.
We do worry about it a lot, and over the years we've been hit with a few natural disasters. Unfortunately, the hurricanes in Florida.
You have to worry about things like that. So, how did you get involved? This was a family business, right? Your father had started it.
My father was the founder of Delaware Valley Fish Company. And I started my career with him. And, working with Dad is challenging at times.
Why don't we say what the company did, too?
Delaware Valley Fish Company is involved in fresh eels.
Okay, and it still does the same.
Still does the same.
How many years has that company been around?
The company
50
is
years at least?
not quite 50.
Okay, but you're closing in on
35.
That's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Still in the eel business.
Still in the eel business.
That you ship them to markets where there are people who want to eat eels.
Yeah,
Or
especially
more
in Europe.
eels than we eat here.
Yeah, Western Europe is a huge eel consumption area. Germany, Belgium, France, they smoke them the way we would eat maybe
Right.
salmon or whitefish.
So your business does a lot more than eels now. You do a lot more businesses. You have BK, you have the orange juice business. You came into the business with your father. Did you say, "Hey, Dad, I have an idea. Let's do this"? And what did he say?
He said, "Well, I really know what I'm doing. I appreciate your insight, but he wasn't really susceptible to a lot of change."
So you were being the good son. You followed through and you waited, bided your time. Eventually, he would be no longer with the business, and then you took it in the new direction.
Well, before I got involved with my father's business, I had entrepreneurial instincts myself, and I was involved with during the summer season, I sold froze fruit bars on a stick.
Yeah.
Around the Philadelphia metro area with these little carts that could go. They were movable. They were on wheels. And I employed a lot of high school and college age, mostly pretty girls.
Who would go out with the cart, push it around, and then sell people the froze fruits.
Exactly. And from there,
How old were you then?
I was 21, 22.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
finished college.
That's a seasonal business.
Yes.
Okay. Then.
My roommate in college
Yeah.
moved to Florida, and I went to visit him, and I met someone who was involved with fresh squeezed orange juice. And he convinced me to try to sell it into my ice cream distribution company that I was. So I took froze fruit and other ice cream novelties, and I started to wholesale them. And then I brought in citrus products. And that's how I started the BK umbrella of companies.
Now, did you do that with your father or separate?
My dad supported me, but
Oh, he did support.
he supported me.
See?
I worked out of his fish factory
Yeah.
in the early days. I would bring clients there, and they would have to maneuver around the eels on the ground, and everybody got a kick out of it. It was always fun to go in there with a client.
But Dean asked you earlier who does the cooking in your family, and I understand that you have 4 daughters. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
And what's life like in your house that's predominantly women?
It's a house of great beauty. There's a lot of love in our house. I love my daughters. They're all good kids, but at times they do get a little fired up. Women and men are definitely different.
Well, you're outnumbered 5-1.
I'm outnumbered.
Do they like the eels? Does any of your daughters find the eels to be cute?
No.
Okay.
No. They all like the Parmesan cheese. They like the smoked fish. They do like gourmet products. I'll give them that. But my daughters, my role is they've taught me a lot about being sympathetic, being emotional.
Not just a hard businessman.
Exactly. No, I'm not a hard businessman at home.
Okay. So you have something unusual when you were a kid. Unlike, you were working with your father probably and doing all that and playing sports, right?
Right.
And then you did something else, Walnut Street Theater. Let's talk about that.
My father was involved at the Society Hill Playhouse when I was a kid. And he did, it was a community playhouse, and he was always involved in lights. He did a lot of the lighting production. And whenever they needed a kid, he would say, I got a few.
Take mine.
Yes.
Okay.
So I would do these summer playhouses, and we would go around in the different neighborhoods and do performances. And a few times I did a few plays myself. And then an opportunity came up, and I auditioned for the Rose Tattoo at the Walnut Street Theater in New York, and I got the part. And
in New York City?
Well, it was New York production, but it was in Philadelphia.
Down here.
Right.
Okay.
So when I was 12, 13 years old, I was an actor.
With Jerry Orbach?
Jerry Orbach, Maureen Stapleton.
Wow.
They were in the play.
Were they nice?
They were great. Learned a lot. I went to an Eagles game with Jerry Orbach.
Wow.
When I was a kid.
So, did you keep? Are you in business? Do you use anything you learned as a kid from acting? Do you have the ability to say, bring something back and say, you know what? Sometimes I have to look or act a certain way.
Most definitely. Being a leader at the office in my community, I'm always role playing. Sometimes I got to be forceful. Sometimes I got to be, accommodating. Dealing with people all the time. There's different ways that that you motivate them.
Is that, if you look at the business and all the products you offer now and how much it has expanded over the years, does that skill set? I mean, people are always our listeners would always like to know, how did you take something that may have been pretty small that you started in an ice cream route at 21 and take it to where it is today?
Well, it's probably in my genes. Both my parents took a lot of risk, growing up. My mom was involved with the community, and one of the things that she did was she brought inner city people together with, other races and religions. Where we grew up in South Philadelphia, we were in between, a low income area and a high income area. And she was able to create sports leagues where the low income kids and the well-to-do kids all played on the same teams. And she took a lot of abuse for it, but, she was very stubborn. And my dad took a lot of shots in business. He was one of the first aqua farmers in the United States. He started an eel growing company in Florida. So, from both my parents, they always taught us that nothing's easy and hard work, and you got to take some shots.
Brett, what's the website address of BK?
www.bkfoods.com.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. We've been talking to Brett Kratchman, who is the president and founder of BK Specialty Foods. Don't forget to visit our website. We'll be back in a moment, right after this business spotlight.